A worker exodus is taking place, according to South China Morning Post. We haven't read the scmp.com in a while. It used to be a favorite of mine. You know, a little slightly different publication there. And so there you were dipping into it, I suppose.
It's a good
today.
time, yeah.
You were in there. You were like, you know what? It's time to check up on what's happening in the big tech section of South China Morning Post. They say worker exodus, COVID-19 lockdown. COVID-19, you don't hear much about that COVID anymore, do you? You hear more about Halloween lately.
Yeah.
I was looking at Google Trends. I was like, let's see where COVID's at. I put COVID, I put Kanye, I put Ukraine, and I put Halloween.
Okay.
Halloween was dominating globally.
Well, it is today or yesterday.
It was dominating. This was a couple days ago This was a couple days ago I was doing this mini study. I was just curious because the COVID thing, everyone's been sick, but it's not really labeled as COVID anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just-
COVID put a damper on Halloween.
It did?
Yeah, with the passing out of the candy and
Oh, you
parties
mean
and stuff.
last year?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're right.
So
Well, COVID put
It came back
it put a
quick.
damper on everything. Never mind Halloween.
yeah,
It was dampening everything. Everything was damp.
yeah.
So, in the world's largest iPhone factory, the Apple supply chain has been hit with a worker exit. Well, there, you have the no COVID policy in China. It's very severe. It's very strict. And how long can people put up with it for? Well, before it's too much for them. I don't know what the threshold is. But obviously the indication here is you see the exodus, you see people leaving the factory. The indication here via South China Morning Post is that some people may have hit their threshold. Well, an unknown number of workers have fled the iPhone production plant run by Foxconn Technology Group in Shenzhou as COVID-19 cases flare. At least 10% of the global iPhone production capacity is affected by the situation in this one campus, according to analysts. They have been trying to diversify big time lately, Apple, moving some production around in order to avoid having too much dependence on one particular region or one particular facility.
To India and Vietnam, right?
All over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of Brazil might be sprinkled in there. An exodus of panicked workers fearing COVID-19 lockdowns and infections in the world's largest iPhone factory in the central Chinese city of Shenzhou could slow the production of Apple's flagship device in the coming months. Foxconn Technology Group, which runs the plant, promised on Sunday to help arrange transport for workers wanting to go back to their hometowns after video clips widely circulating on social media showed some fleeing the compound on foot and walking in fields and on highways because public transport in the city was suspended as part of COVID-19 controls. Shut down the transport, Will. The factory in the capital of Henan province employs around 300,000 workers. 300,000. That's hey, Will?
Yeah.
One factory, 300,000 workers. Do you even begin
That's a large city.
to imagine managing such a thing?
Yeah.
300,000. Hey, I work at the plant. Really? Where do you work? Oh, I'm in section 486 in block 302, and I've been there for 6 years. And
How's Heidi? You know?
Heidi's unbelievable. Neither Foxconn, also known as Hanhai Technology Group, nor the Shenzhou government has disclosed how many workers are leaving or are in quarantine. But of course, the speculation being here that if this imagery is any indication that it would mean you're shutting down these assembly lines, and then you obviously have Christmas coming up, so you obviously have some more demand for these devices, and any type of slowdown when there's a shortage. I think Mo had an iPhone on order, and he was saying it took a little while.
Really?
He was trying to buy a gift for his mom, I believe. I don't know, because we had this stuff on order immediately when it was announced. But I think there are still some slipping shipping dates and so forth, depending on the model. A driver from the city of Jiaoshuo, which borders Jiangsu and makes up 3.5% of Henan's population, said the city has arranged 4 buses to shuttle between Foxconn and a local quarantine reception center. Doesn't that sound not that inviting? Come visit us at the Quarantine Reception Center. We promise the utmost treatment of you. And then that song I was playing earlier.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, you know what? I think I'm good without that reception center. I'll see you at the reception center
Oh.
where we will inspect. We'll inspect you to ensure your own safety, in fact.
Oh.
We'll just look you up and down. We'll just, we'll examine you. You don't mind, do you? Well, you know.
I'm going to reject this. Can I?
There will be no rejection.
No.
There will be no transport. There will be no movement until we've seen you at the reception.
Heidi, help. Help me, Heidi.
Oh, my God. Direct knowledge on the matter. Unidentified source. Foxconn's Changshu plant could see its iPhone output hit by up to 30%, 30% decline in November, trying to mitigate the impact. Well, I don't know if the latest sickness everybody got was COVID or not, but out in public, like, I'm just seeing so many people getting colds.
Yeah,
so
this is
many
the
people
season.
with the kids at school and missing days or missing a week at a time. And it's like, you know, people aren't really, there's not as many tests going on and things like that. So I don't know how, obviously the treatment around here has changed quite significantly compared to other places where it appears to still be fairly in the containment mode.
Yeah.
In the strict kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Black and white
And
situation.
so I don't know. What can we take away from it? I guess if you want to get one of these iPhones, maybe you might have to wait a little bit, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. Is zero COVID possible, Will? Is that a possibility?
Well, yeah. I think eventually, right?
Is it? Zero COVID is just wiped out?
Yeah.
Or is it here to stay in one way or another, one form or another? Are you a doctor, Will?
I think it'll be gone within like 5 years.
5 years. There, you heard it from Will.
Right.
Now you're getting us kicked off YouTube by giving medical advice.
Yeah,
here.
I'm not trained.
No, this is not
bad.
medical or financial advice. And Will is just, I don't know what he's doing. He's wagering over there. He doesn't know. He's no expert.
Yeah.
Neither am I.